Hello and welcome to the IGN UK Podcast. On this week's podcast, I'm joined by two children, Rory Powell.
Oh, yes, hello. All right, yeah.
And our small baby, Luke Kamani.
Older than Rory, but hello.
You got small
It's got
child,
nothing
though.
to do with real age.
Yeah,
It's
it
got-
does. So I'm older than him.
I'm feeling mature today. I'll be I'll keep my voice down to a certain decibel.
But
I'll
still a
compress
stupid accent.
myself.
Yeah.
Still the accent, yeah, absolutely.
So we were going to talk about Star Wars Battlefront because obviously that's the biggest game out this week. But unfortunately,
Yes.
I don't think you guys are old enough to play it. So I know, right? But no, we have sunk quite a few hours into Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah.
And while I'm certainly on the side of so far liking it.
Oh, absolutely. The normal side, yes.
Yeah.
Join the
Whereas
normies.
Luke is on the dark side.
I'm on the dark
Oh,
side.
I like what we're doing now.
I need to clarify this. So I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it. But for a 60 quid game...
Where did you buy it from?
Oh, well, no, I was going to say
A man
60,
in an alley.
I said 60 and then I was going to be
Wearing a trench coat.
$60. But if you buy it on the PSN, it's
Yeah.
£60.
No fool would do that.
Well, we'll come back to this later. But basically, £60 game. I don't believe there's enough content. I've played it. I've only been to one preview event, and I've only played it yesterday.
Why is that a con?
What's that got to do with it?
I demand at least 4 preview events.
My point being,
Free food, free drink. What
the
is...
point being, I haven't played that much of it, but I already find myself it's a little repetitive.
It's a
Did you play the
shooter.
same game mode every time?
No, but particularly, I've been going back. I've been playing Black Ops 3, and I've been playing Destiny, and I'm not a big shooter at the moment. A shooter fan, you know this.
Okay.
So
All right, I'm going to let you have your say before I lay into you.
Here we go. So I've been playing both of them, and I feel in my heart of hearts there is more variety, stuff to unlock and stuff to do. Like as far as I'm concerned, you've piloted one X-wing, you've piloted them all. So I've kind of
That is such a weird
Yeah.
kind of
I don't know.
criticism.
I just feel like
so
I've
look,
done it.
there are loads of game modes in there.
So
And if you'd let me finish, thank you. If you play the game modes properly, there's actually quite a lot of difference. I agree with you. When I first started playing it, I was like, oh my God, it all feels the same. But that's because so many people don't take any notice of the objectives. And more than any other shooter I've played recently, a team-based shooter, it's very, very objective focused. And you've got to play together as a team to kind of do that.
So I'm very objective focused as a player. Like for example, in COD, I don't like team deathmatch. I like Dominion or Domination or whatever is where it's like
Domination.
King of the Hill.
Not Dominion.
I don't know what that is.
Well, Domination's
That's
also a bit
That's
of a
a
thing.
club down a seedy kind of back alley that you go to.
I've said too much. But basically, that's kind of the stuff that I enjoy. So because they've got the droid run, basically kind of being the similar version.
Well, I mean, it has all the classic game modes, just, given different names.
with a little bit of a
Droid Run
tweak.
is essentially domination. You've got, Capture the
Supremacy.
Flag, which is just, retrieving intel and bringing it over to the different base. I think one of the main differences is, I think one of the reasons it works, this game being so objective focused, is that the perks and the power-ups in Battlefront doesn't come from score streaks. It doesn't come from killing the enemy team again and again and again. So whereas if you were playing Domination and you just keep going for objectives and just jumping on, you're going to keep getting killed. And it may seem like you're doing the right thing by going for the goal, but in turn, you're actually giving the enemy more kills and more power-ups, and that's why they have swarms of drones above you, bombing you. Whereas in Battlefront, it's all quite even playing field, because the power-ups are just for both teams on the maps, and you can pick them up, which gives you the freedom to push these objectives without, giving bonuses to the other team.
And I think, going back to your point about unlocks, I definitely feel like there's a bit of a missed opportunity there because I don't really feel like I'm looking through the weapons going, oh, there's nothing that I kind of think I've got to get that is an essential piece of kit. Like
Well,
the cards are pretty cool, and like unlocking those kind of
For
stuff
me,
I
it's
think
also
is interesting.
personalization. Like, I mean, I like the like for example in Battlefront, you can customize in Black Ops, you can customize your weapon, the camo, all of that. Whereas like you can't even, you can unlock a Twi'lek if you get to max rank. But I want a bit more customization. Like, do I have red dangly things or yellow dangly things? But
Well, there is a certain level. I mean, you can customize your soldier to a certain level, but you can tell, like,
Well, you can customize haircuts.
yeah, which is important stuff, and beards.
But again, I think that's part of the problem is you're working with a licensed brand.
Yeah.
And they obviously I don't know enough about the aliens, whether they do have red dangly bits or yellow dangly bits. Maybe they're only green.
Well, they have been in Jedi Knight and other things like that, but maybe they are taking it back to the old school.
Don't ask about an alien's dangly bits. That's rude.
That's
That's
very,
rude.
very
You need to get to know them
inappropriate.
first. But you can tell just even by the fact that you can't pick up enemies' guns that's not an option. I mean, that's a reasonably big part of other FPS games is killing someone, and then if you're a lower level, being able to take their gun, or if you run out of ammo, you can pick up other guns. The fact that that's not an option shows you how much emphasis and how important the guns are, because really they are all a bit samey. I mean, they have machine guns with varying range and damage, but then you've just got maybe like one kind of shotgun blaster, one long range, one LMG.
The customized Jawa blaster
does
like hyper damage, but its range is about
it's so short. Yeah,
for fighting other Jawas.
So it basically in the game, it never really comes down to whose gun is going to be stronger. It's more on who sees the other person first. If they have their back to you, they're probably going to die.
I'll tell you something that I have found as well. I think largely because clearly there's a lot of people who have bought it who are Star Wars fans rather than shooter fans. And I'm not amazing at shooters by any stretch of the imagination, but I am a don at this. I am just killing everyone just because they seem to be. A lot of people are just kind of standing there, not strafing, not crouching. And I think there's a lot of people who maybe aren't shooter fans who've got into it quite
Well, it's a
early.
really strange game as well. Like, obviously, as you said, playing a lot of Destiny and playing a lot of Black Ops. So much of that multiplayer aspect is evasion.
Yeah.
The fact that you have jetpacks, you can, burst move, like, left and right. There's times in
you have to
Battlefront...
work hard to get a jetpack, though.
Oh, this is in Battlefront, but in Call
yeah.
of Duty, you've got it from the start.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, FPSs are getting faster and faster every year. And that was my first problem when I came to the beta of Battlefront. And it was just felt really, really sluggish, which I'm getting used to now because obviously it works. It works in that universe within these game modes. But there's times where someone like throws a grenade and it like lands at my feet. And I know it's there and it's just landed there. But I'm not physically fast enough to get out of its radius before it explodes. Even though I'm very aware of where it is and where I need to go. It's just... You don't have the opportunity unless you get that burst jump pack, which you have to get to level 13 to get, and it replaces one of your perks as well in your cards, which is pretty crazy.
That is, like I'm a big grenade fan in any FPS.
Oh yeah,
and so I've got thermal detonators on one side and impact grenades on the other.
The impact grenades are incredible. The amount of times I'll just go around a corner and throw one, and it just hits some guy, and he's just obliterated.
But it's compared to like most recent shooters, it is very pared back.
Yeah.
But I don't actually think that's a bad thing.
No.
Like a lot of it is kind of making you think more, and especially us, like we've been playing it as squads and like trying to work together to take control points and things like that. And I think it forces you to do that a lot more and cover people's backs, and I like that.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, it's not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination.
It's not.
No,
It's
really
not.
no. I'm not saying it is. I really enjoy it. I just think possibly part of it again might be down to the fact that I did start playing. I was like, I'll play Destiny and I'll play Call of Duty so I don't embarrass myself in front of the lads. And then
Oh yeah, all the alpha males in this
in the
office.
Don't want to get into that. And but it actually kind of didn't really do me any favors because, as you say, it does feel slower. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just kind of
I think
it
you've
feels
just got
different.
Exactly, and like when we were playing the heroes versus villains thing, we got our asses handed to us because
I do enjoy
you
that.
just think that
There's
the
tactics.
heroes is like go on, bundle in there, but as soon as one of your heroes is gone, you're screwed.
We played a hilarious game the other day when we were, I think it was like in the Force of Endor, and it was heroes versus villains, obviously, and we were destroying them. But it got to the point where there was 3 of us left, and one of them, because it doesn't end until all the enemy's heroes are dead.
Yeah.
And Chancellor Palpatine was Emperor, sorry.
Yeah, excuse me. He's moved on.
Sorry.
He's moved up in
He's
the
called
Give
the
it his
Emperor.
He's doing good
goddamn
these
right
days,
time.
yeah.
He worked hard.
So he was the last one alive, and I was like Luke Skywalker, and I was like, we were destroying them because obviously you just keep coming until he's dead. We're like, where the hell is this guy? And I just looked over, and his head just popped up from a little bush and went back down. He was just hiding at the back of the forest. So we all just went over, and he was just trying to zap everyone. It was so funny.
The one thing I will say, the voice acting is hit and miss, and by hit, I mean miss and miss. I mean, like
I don't mind it.
I just don't think there's too much of it.
Yeah.
What got me is someone said to me, and it ruined Emperor Palpatine for me. Someone said to me, he sounds like Mr. Bean. And when you listen to it next,
Chancellor Bean, actually, I think you'll find.
He sounds very much kind of like now we'll see. It's very kind of.
Well, it doesn't sound like Mr.
that
Bean
was
at
like
all.
Yoda.
No.
Okay, I can't do the voice, but neither can the voice actor.
You're very good at doing a Mr. Bean impression there.
Thank you.
I think one of my favorite parts about this game is that there's been several moments when we're playing some of the bigger maps where I'll die and then spawn back in, and I'll kind of come to like the point of a hill and just look down, and you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
At some of the nighttime levels,
Well,
and
that
it's just late,
supremacy mission we were playing
Oh
on
my
Endor
goodness.
at night was insane.
It is beautiful
it
as a
looks
game
incredible.
as well. Yeah.
And the way the music like works with the game, it makes you really feel like it. So we were playing Walker Assault yesterday, me, Gavin, Dan, and it like wasn't going so well. It was coming down to the last minute. The walkers were pushing. There were people flying by in speeders. I was like, this is crazy. I don't know how we're gonna come back this. And I got a hero token, and I just like popped out as Luke Skywalker, and you heard them all being like, "All right, Luke's on the team," and like all of a sudden you just looked around.
You
and
ran
there was
out and got
this-
squashed.
like all of a sudden it's like this AT-AT just like crushing trees, and they're all falling around you, and like
Yeah.
it was just so epic, and it really
Yeah.
feels like you're in a Star Wars
No,
battle.
it
It's
is.
amazing.
But so again, for me, it's that 60 quid tag, which leads us neatly into another point that we were talking about.
So obviously one of the big kind of controversies around Battlefront, especially when it was announced, was that the amount the season pass will cost you and what you're going to get from DLC. Because
Well, originally they didn't even announce what you were going to get, did they? That only came out last week.
well, they've still been they've
been coy.
alluded to it, but they
Yeah.
haven't been specific. And I've got a theory behind that, which I'll talk about in a second. But I think this week they announced that there's going to be 20 new items, 4 additional heroes and villains, 16 multiplayer maps, and 4 new game modes, which is a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And arguably, maybe some of that should have been in the full release rather than getting you spend the same amount again on the season pass. But that's not what we're going to talk about right now. That's
No.
for, if
That's
you want to buy it, that's up to you.
That's for you guys to talk about.
But I want to kind of talk about what do you want to see from Battlefront DLC now that you've sunk a fair bit of time into the kind of the standard retail version.
Yeah, well, I think I'm probably on the other side of the spectrum in terms of you guys, because I was a little bit skeptical when I played the beta. And
Did you say Jar Jar Binks is a hero?
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Punch
that'd be
you.
amazing. Like whip tonguing
Do
people.
my Emperor Jar Jar theory coming out.
It'd be
Yeah.
insane. I would like to see. There's already so many maps and so many options, much more than I thought it was going to be. There's like enough levels that I don't even recognize some of them. Like it's
What?
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I think they're very.
They're quite
I think they're very.
quite recognisable.
There's 4 planets.
I think it was maybe it's just like locations that I'm like I don't really doesn't really have anything. There was one that was just like dust. You were just on a dust mound. It's like just
Is
like
it June? Have you got your
not
science
I don't
know.
mixed up?
I would like to see some. I know it's probably not going to come in DLC, but it would be nice to have some sort of reward for playing well, aside from just like an objective thing, like some sort of score streaks or something to like fill that void. Because at the minute, like as when I was playing earlier, like I got a great game. It was like 32 kills and like 21 deaths.
Yeah.
But I was like, there was no benefit to doing that.
No,
like,
you
there was
get
no-
kind of like in-game kind of what are they? I guess achievement points almost.
Yeah.
But I
You
don't
get awards. They
really
call them
know.
awards because at the end of the match, when it's tallying up your experience,
I think you
they
just
call
get
them
more
awards.
money
You
or
get
get
more
more experience. or whatever.
credits and
Yeah.
like ranking up.
But there's no actual like in-game bonus.
No.
It's all very much
No,
just
it's
like locate.
Well done, you.
Yeah, so pretty much
We'll
I'd
pay
like
you
to
back
see
for
some
this
sort of
later.
incentive to, because obviously the incentive is there to capture the goals because you want to win the game, but there's no incentive to, play that extra little bit on edge.
Yeah.
Maybe be a bit more stealthy and get more kills than deaths.
Yeah.
So that would be nice. I'd like to see that.
Well, it says 16 new multiplayer maps, and so I'm right in thinking it has 16 at the moment, right? Because there's 4 planets, each with 4 maps, as far as so we can assume
something like that.
We'll probably see the same again. So one of the ones that I would like to see, I'm keen actually on Naboo because from one of the no. No,
Alex's
because
face.
the early I think it was Battlefront 2, but I absolutely loved there was Theed when you went around the city in Theed. That was one of them, and I loved that. I like Bespin as well. I think Bespin would be a great one, and there's opportunities there for because that was again in one
Couldn't
of the
really do a
earlier
Walker assault on Bespin, could you?
well, it'd be tricky. I'll give you that. What just being carried. So yeah, Bespin and Naboo are kind of. two
Bespin
big
would
ones.
make a good fighter squadron
Yeah.
mode, but they tend to utilize their maps for all of the maps.
Yeah.
Rather
In terms of the other one, I mean, there's always the possibility they'll do sons we haven't seen, like, Jakku is
that's coming with pre-order.
Yeah, but also Sullust we haven't really seen before.
Yeah.
Coruscant, maybe?
Which I'm going to show my newbiness here. What was the name of the island where the Wookiees lived? That foresty one.
It's not an island; it's a planet.
Oh, sorry, I meant
Kashyyyk.
planet.
and that's on my list of Kashyyyk. Yes.
Sorry to step on your toes there.
That's
on your
all
Wookiee
right.
toes.
Yeah. On your paws?
So I'd like to see that. Dagobah, obviously where Yoda comes from.
Yeah.
Right, not Dragon Ball, as I asked you
not-
3 times before the podcast.
Alex,
Why do you want to see Dragon
Do you know
Ball?
Dragon Ball? Do you want to talk about Dragon Ball? Oh, Alex.
I would definitely like to see more variety in some of the weapons and you know, kind of. Yeah, there are, like you said, there are weapons that are better at long range, but they don't feel like this is a sniper rifle.
No.
It doesn't. It feels like, because the laser blasters have such incredible range in the first
Well,
place.
that's it.
But I
Like,
mean,
I've
part of
only
that-
been like sniped once, and it's not by a sniper rifle. It's by one of the sidearms
But
that
I
you
think-
have as an ability.
Yes.
Like
Isn't
you
part of
take
that
out
like
the
the
sniper.
cycler rifle? Is that what it's called? Because that was in the beta
Yeah.
when you got to use that, and so I do wonder if they would do that, because surely then that diminishes.
So instead of having like all the guns are kind of in the middle, and then the extreme guns would be like perks, like to get a sniper rifle,
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
one-shot kill, it would be a perk.
Okay, I get you.
But it feels like
work.
I think, and maybe that's more to do with the Star Wars universe, is that there isn't that much differentiation between how you play, depending on your weapon. You play the same way.
Yeah.
You kind of just get stuck in.
Yeah.
It's not like, right, I'm going to be the medic. I'm going to hang back and do this and look after.
That's
provide
true,
Support.
yeah.
There's just none of that. Every weapon is, I can kill someone in a couple of shots. That's simple. as
Yeah,
that.
but there is enough diversity to justify that, where it's like, in the big team battles, you can be like, okay, well, I'm going to be the guy who's getting the planes and up in the sky. Or it's like,
They're
I'm
not
going to be...
planes. They're space.
Oh! they're planes, essentially. An X-Wing is a
not.
plane.
Because they can do
It's a plane.
they can do interplanetary travel to a degree.
Some planes might be able to do that. We just haven't tested
Man,
it yet.
sometimes I despair.
Only sometimes.
Right.
Jesus wept.
Right, other vehicles I would like to see. I'd love to see the B-Wing, a personal favourite of mine.
Oh yeah, you like the B-wing.
do
I
like
want to
the
see.
B-wing.
I don't mind a
The B-wing.
what are they called? Staps. One from where the droids go on them in episode 1, where you kind of.
What is your obsession? Like, I don't think we'll see any prequel stuff in this game.
Well, but I think they might obviously release this following Force Awakens, so we might see some of the stuff from that.
Yes, that makes absolute sense. So that was my theory. I reckon a lot of the stuff that we are going to see is going to be from Force Awakens.
Oh, I see.
So I think some of the vehicles we might see the new snow speeder, which is
That looks very nice.
I don't like, it's not a patch on the old school snow speeder.
But the old stuff is so iconic now anyway. I don't think you can really. I'm saying all the wrong things.
I just like, you are entitled to your opinion.
Maybe-
No, I'm not. It's wrong, Alex. Tell me it's wrong.
Maybe for like a possible vehicle, it could be like BB-8, and you like run along him like a space clown,
Like
Like
how
a
you can
hamster,
call
like
in-
an
Yeah.
outside hamster.
You can call in astromech droids, can't you?
Yeah.
As the rebellion. You probably will be able to call in BB-8s.
What's he gonna do though? He'll hit a step and
she.
he'll
Like knock
screwed.
people over.
It's a she.
It's a she, is it?
What BB-8 is a she?
Well, it's a
Isn't
robot,
it?
so yeah.
It's a she. It's a female droid apparently.
Right, okay. Other things.
Where is its vagina?
First Order TIE Fighter. And
Yeah.
obviously the new X-Wings. Hopefully we'll see those.
Oh,
Kylo
yeah,
Ren
it'd be
shuttle. Maybe
Yeah.
that's like one of the things you've got to protect in Fighter Squadron.
The Millennium Falcon's back anyway, so we've already got
So
that.
amazing! I got
Yeah,
a chance
but
to
it-
play as a Millennium
It's
Falcon.
got a
It was-
square radar dish. Makes all
Really?
the difference. In Force Awakens, yeah.
I will feel quite cheated if they add the new Millennium Falcon with that.
So,
Yeah, me too.
new heroes and villains. So there's going to be 4. Kylo Ren.
Of course.
Surely.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Captain Phasma. Surely.
Oh, that would
Yeah.
be awesome.
But is he's the flamethrower?
She.
She?
with
what
you,
am I
Roy, you
doing?
sexist
Gee.
thing.
No, and it's not.
And it's not.
The,
No, I know.
chrome
I'm
one.
thinking of
The
I'm
chrome
thinking
one.
of
The
a
Chrome
different person.
Trooper.
Yeah.
Brienne of Tarth from Game of Thrones.
If Chewbacca is not in this game,
Well,
I'm out.
Well, interestingly, so when Gav and I went to Sweden to do that trip, and we interviewed Lena, who's the lead producer on it,
Yeah.
she was chatting about it, and she was like, "Oh yeah, no, we were looking at inspiration, some of the stuff we've got in the game." She mentioned this whole after things, and I didn't think about it at the time, but she did say bowcaster.
Yeah.
So she has mentioned, and are bowcasters in the
Yes.
game at the moment?
Yes.
Then never mind, because I was going to say Chewie might be in it because
No,
she's a
bowcasters are absolutely in the game.
You could almost guarantee he'll be in it though.
He's got
He has to be in
yeah,
it.
because he's a huge character, and he was also in
Like-
previous Battlefront games. So,
I
so
would
he's like,
love to have Chewbacca.
that'd be great. Just ripping people apart.
And you'd
It'd be amazing.
assume either Finn or possibly Rey, depending on.
I've got those two down as well.
I think Rey, because I think Rey.
Well, no, like Finn could be quite good. I think they need more.
But no, because
there's
we've-
actually not a lot of heroes and special people you can play as with lightsabers.
But this
it's
is the thing.
just
But
Luke
Rey,
and-
but Rey would offer a different one because even if she doesn't have a lightsaber, she'd be using her double-ended
Weird
sword
staff.
thing. So
Yeah.
or staff.
Staff.
Yeah. I think
We're
it's gonna
very
be a
nitpicky
lightsaber.
this episode. Any
It's-
little mistake
yeah.
is being
All right, Rebel
magnified.
Base. Ooh.
Just saying, like, if you
Sorry.
want to talk about Star
You
Wars,
could
let's
call
talk
them
about it
planes. They fly.
properly.
What's the big deal?
Yeah.
Goodness sakes.
But no, I think I don't really know who else we've seen. I think we've mentioned most of the big ones.
Lando.
Lando.
We talked about Lando being cool, where you could get a Lando power up and you would appear like the enemy team.
What,
so
Master of
they would
Disguise?
think that you're one of
Right.
them, and you could just like thump everyone on the back and kill them, and then it'd be amazing. And you could have a cape. It's pretty sweet.
Oh,
It'd be great to do, like I really like some of the other bounty hunters. So,
Django. What is wrong? Look, I had this conversation with people in the office.
No,
you tried to make it sound way worse than it was. I was just saying that Django Fett was my bounty hunter because I grew up with him. He
do
was
you know
the
what?
first one that
Like, a bounty hunter mode would be good. Like heroes and villains, but all bounty hunters.
well, that's the new
That'd be
game
messy.
mode.
That's all you like. You go in there and you say, right, okay, I'm going to put this many credits against it, and it's like a bounty hunter mode.
New game modes.
that could be
I
quite
like.
fun.
That'd be great. It's like, okay, I'm confident I'm going to win this. I'm going to put down 2,000 credits, and if you win it, oh, you get loads. But if
That
you
would
lose
be
it,
fun.
it's like,
Or like a game mode where it's like a team of bounty hunters and there's a bunch of NPCs and you have to assassinate like a specific person. So then like your two teams of bounty hunters have to be the first one to assassinate the right person. That's pretty good. Come on, DICE. Step up your game.
There was a game mode that I always used to love on the old Time Splitters, which was Virus, which is, one of you starts off on green fire and you have to run around and catch. You don't have any weapons,
Yeah.
but you then have to run around and tag someone else, and they're on fire, and everyone has to basically, and the winner is the last person who isn't on fire.
Yeah.
I'd like a mode like
Like
that.
real life.
Yeah, like in real life. So I'd like a mode like that because that was always fun.
That has nothing to do with Star Wars.
I was going to
though.
say, I can't
you
see
can-
that working in the
you
Star.
just want to burn people.
I don't know. You've got Space Plague or something. I don't know.
I know, but like Darth Vader running around.
Hey,
the
Chancellor.
Listen, have you seen those two jump?
Emperor.
Because they do not look cool, and
No.
like, they look like the Wicked Witch of the West.
I guarantee you, at least 50% of the time people have seen the Emperor for the first time, they laughed. I laugh because he
looks like a frog.
the way his body moves, it's like quite rigid, but his legs move. But he's got these like Thriller hands. He's got like
But how do you animate
Like,
him?
it's
to
It's
make-
like that idea of him being that
So
when you
funny.
said earlier about him in the bush, and you just see his
Yeah,
head
he
pop
just
out with
popped
his
up.
hands, just like.
like a meerkat just popped up.
My
It's
one
ridiculous.
concern about the stuff they're saying here, these new game modes and stuff, is that it does split the community by people who do buy it and who don't, and that's obviously something a lot of other devs have gone out of their way to avoid.
Well, Destiny had so many problems with it because then
Exactly.
if you keep upgrading the playlists of maps and things, then you're
and if you give
alienating
free
some of your
if you give
audience.
free maps, I'd also like to see is there a playlist feature? I didn't find one.
What do you mean?
I haven't found one at the moment. I've just found like you select your mode and that's
And you
it.
stick within that
You know,
mode.
you can't be like I would like to do objective
Like
based
random,
modes.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
Like a
No, I don't
mix-up
think there
kind of.
is.
So there isn't one.
Or if
We've
there is,
seen-
I've not seen it.
Yeah, so I'd like a feature like that to come in at some stage. I think that
Yeah.
should be free rather than HDLC, but I'd like something like that. Also with free for all maybe,
What do you mean?
rather than team based. Isn't it all team based?
Oh,
team-based.
what? But what
Yeah,
game
but-
nowadays has? Well, I guess there's some very niche game
Oh,
modes.
free for all. Just
But you-
everyone kill each other.
But you couldn't really do that because you couldn't have rebels killing rebels.
Well, you could be. They're real rebels. They're rebels.
Yeah. So
This is
rebelliously
why you
rebelled
don't make
against
games.
rebels.
The one thing I would like to see more than anything else is a single player game in that
Hmm.
universe because they've created such a beautiful universe. But imagine a story that you followed all the way through from, I don't know, kind of, starting out as the rebellion or a kind of stormtrooper on your first mission,
Yeah.
all the way through to kind of piloting an ATST or an X-Wing. God, that would be immense.
Yeah.
That actually doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would. Yeah, it comes. I think like at the time when it was announced, I was disappointed because I really enjoyed a lot of the other Star Wars games that I've played, and I thought like, yeah, narrative would be really cool. But then as soon as you like understand what they're going for, and it's more what they're trying to do is just capture the essence of a Star Wars battle, which they've done so well.
Those set pieces.
I think if they were going to do a campaign, what you'd most likely see would be like a pre-rendered cinematic that would then throw you into a battle, and then there'd be another cinematic that would lead you into another battle. It would just be a series of battles in different planets. I don't think they would string along like an actual full narrative where you're like adventuring around.
But you could quite easily have like an Endor level where as the Imperials, you've got to take over the bunker or something like that, and you're weaving and it's quite an open map.
Yeah, I guess
you've got
there's
to get
enough
from point A to
exploration.
point B, and
to be fair, they have the 2-player co-op mode, which me and Dan played,
but
and it's
that's
very
just
much it establishes
horde mode, though, right?
Horde mode.
Well, yeah, but it does establish like some narratives. Like we were on a planet. I'm not going to try and specify.
What did it look like?
It was not very watery, dry, dusty, Earth.
Was it Tatooine?
Maybe, yeah. It was very cliffy
deserty?
though. No, because it was very
Sullust.
cliffy.
Was it Sullust?
Might have been Sullust.
Was it lava-y?
No,
Oh.
I don't know.
What colour was it brown or grey?
Orange.
Okay.
It was orange.
Right.
And Admiral Akbar was like, oh, we're gonna send reinforcements, but obviously you have to survive, but we'll send you drop pods. So it's like almost a little bit of a narrative to justify. I know it is just horde
But it's not a narrative at all. It's not a structured single player game. Is what I would like. It's like, okay, my objective is to do this.
Because that's
and
what
then
I do when that's what I'm hoping The Force Awakens is, just 2 hours of Admiral Akbar being like, we're going to drop pods for you. It's like, I don't need that in my
I
life.
love to see him as a playable character, just placing traps everywhere, and just sitting back and watching.
It's a trap.
Yeah,
It's a trap. It's a trap.
That's what you want.
that'd be amazing. It's so funny.
Anyway, let us know what you would like in Star Wars Battlefront DLC. You can email IGN_UKfeedback@ign.com.
Cool.
Let's look at the good things that have happened
Yeah.
this week, or according to Alex Fox, the high score.
I like
like
that one.
that.
It's very ties in, brings it full circle.
He suggested the bad, which we'll come on to in a second. But you're up first, pals.
Yeah, the first bit of great news that we've heard recently is that they've announced the dates for the Rainbow Six Siege open beta, which is fantastic because we all had a blast playing the closed beta.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Thanks, Dan, blowing me all over the walls.
To be fair, that was your own stupid fault.
That's a phrase that longs for context.
I talk fast. There's no time to dwell on it. So it's going to be starting next week on the 25th. The 24th, if you actually had access to the closed beta. So we'll all get a little bit of a sneak access there. And I'm just looking forward to getting back into that game. Like, it ended before we were done enjoying it.
But I think the only thing is it's the same stuff we've seen before, right?
Yeah. Well, this is it.
So
yeah.
it's kind
so
of
going to be.
basically it's a last minute stress test before the game comes out.
Yeah.
Only a week later, is it? Something. It's not very long at all.
It is very soon. But no, it is the same. It's the same maps, and I think the same specialists, but obviously just an opportunity for people who didn't get to access to the closed beta.
That game is the polar opposite of Battlefront, where everybody is on a level in Battlefront. You've really got to play to your individual skills.
You're right. It's the
Siege.
absolute difference. It's the same kind of thing. Like, you can't pick up other people's weapons, but that's because each character is so niche that you need to have someone designated for every single role.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, why we were enjoying it, was because it was so different, and the amount of like setup time that we would put in preparation before we even breached the windows. It was just exciting. It's just a different game that we're really used to.
You're
So I'm
still a
looking forward to that.
liability.
No.
You can't polish a turd.
Well, you can, and that turd will get 3
You
headshots.
just get messy hands.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I definitely recommend it if you didn't get a chance to get
haven't
access
played
to
it
the
yet,
closed
so,
beta. It's fun.
You have to play it with friends.
Yeah,
I was going to see that's my problem.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm screwed.
I played it once by myself after work, and all that happened was me just getting made fun of by little American kids, and I was like, I miss my team. It was so horrible.
Reminds me of home.
So rather than being made fun of the people you sit next to, somebody like 5,000 miles away.
It was horrible.
At least you don't have to look them in the eyes after.
They
I
were so
suppose.
rude.
Yeah.
So rude.
I don't think you'll like it.
From what I've heard, I don't know. I used to be a huge fan of, which one was it? It was one of the Splinter Cells, where you had to deactivate these like bombs and stuff, and it was Spies v Mercs.
Oh right.
I used to love that kind of stuff. Which it's not the
That
same.
was still a lot more arcadey.
Yeah.
This is like, especially if you have it on realistic mode. Like we
Oh,
went to
I've
the
seen.
event and
I
played
watched
quite a
you
lot of
play
it.
it.
It's
Yeah.
I watched you
proper
play it a
hardcore.
bit. Yeah, and like he was literally going so slow, and I'm very much kind of run and gun.
Yeah.
So
But it is great, like, because you've got a room that you've got to clear out, but there's, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 entry points. But then that's not even considering the walls that you can blow through and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You've really got to be aware of your surroundings.
Super
Yeah.
diverse. And then also, like, you're
Life's
trying to
short.
breach a room, so you're looking at entry points, but you also have to take into consideration the preparation that the enemy has done, like not just you. So there's like
the preparation.
who just rotated the mic? This isn't a lazy Susan. we do it all small.
What are you
Change
talking about?
places.
What are
like
you calling my mum?
freaking.
Can you pass the prawn toast, please?
Fancy a bit of Coke.
Yeah,
Diet Coke.
it's good.
Jesus Christ.
So it's great. It's great. I'm looking forward to that.
What else is happening?
Well, Naughty Dog has come out and said they have at least one more game coming for PS4 this console generation.
Those naughty dogs.
And those naughty dogs.
Crash Bandicoot.
You know what? I live in hope.
HD.
But Activision. But no, I do
care.
live in hope about that. So obviously one of them, and this is other than Uncharted 4, which we obviously know
Yes,
about.
yeah.
So
Otherwise that wouldn't be news.
yeah, otherwise that would not be news. Like,
We've got another game coming.
But yeah, so community strategist Arne Meyer said, he said, I think, yeah, at least one, possibly two.
How did they not know that?
Well, because they're in development of it,
It
but
depends how, like, what we 2 years into PS3?
PS4.
Oh, right.
PS4,
So
sorry.
if it is pushed back late
Oh,
enough,
it was
then
this.
they'll
It was
just-
this month, wasn't it? It was November 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Oh, yeah,
so,
two.
yeah, Uncharted, spring next year. Last of Us 2.
Assuming
2
that's
years,
the other
like
one.
a year and a half? Of course it is.
But then they obviously have another one.
I would
like,
bet Rory's wages on it that it's.
Jeez.
So basically,
All those wages.
yeah, all those wages. So that's kind of
Just a big bag of Brussels sprouts.
of coal.
Why would it be Brussels sprouts? It would just be Red Bulls. Just mountains of Red Bulls.
You can get paid in Red Bulls.
I was going to say, you were missing a trick here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that. And I'm happy about that because for me, I missed Uncharted the first time around. And now I'm catching up with the collection. Enjoying it. Good games.
Multiplayer's
Good games. But I'm-
multiplayer's fun.
yeah. Oh, no, the collection is only the single-player games. From Uncharted.
Ah, I
Shouldn't really
see.
be called the collection, should it?
No, I know.
Yeah, I did, and I was talking about the multiplayer in the new game, BT Dubs.
Oh, right. I
Yeah.
haven't played that yet.
It's good. Yeah, I actually haven't played any of the Uncharted games, but that and the Last of Us are because those are the two that I've missed out on being an Xbox person.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely dying to start them, but it's just time.
The Last of Us is
People
great.
don't stop making games as well, which is quite frustrating.
know, the
No one ever
backlog you get.
stops.
No, but there are fewer and fewer as bigger games coming out.
You picked a wrong couple months to say that because there's like 5 out there.
Yeah, but it used to be that, like, kind of September through all the way to December, there were massive games every single month, and there were a few.
Well, now
But-
they all just seem to be compacted in the last 2 months in the run-up. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I'm excited because, Uncharted didn't really grip me. Like, Nathan Drake is quite generic, whitey McAction-y hero. And that's
Whitey
just like-
McAction-y?
Oh, they're all white action heroes and stuff. Like, at least The Last of Us was quite exciting because you had Ellie and it was just a bit different and it explored.
So a white female instead of a white male.
Hey, listen, if they can bring in someone of colour, I'd be happy to. Well, they did in Left Behind. So, progress, my friends, progress. But
That's a weird con to have
what?
with the Uncharted.
Well,
Because I
it's
thought
alright.
people, I thought Nathan Drake was quite a,
He's
I thought people really
he's
liked him
very
as a
Harrison
character.
Fordy in the sense that he's a lovable rogue, which is good. But it's and I
We
like
love our rogues.
and I like the game. I do like the game. It's just I think. I don't know, because when it came out, maybe it was a bit more distinctive, but now so many people have tried to copy that pattern of, just kind of that generic guy in these action games.
Yeah.
It's now a bit, and because I've played them, going back to it, I'm like, there's nothing new here. But maybe at the time there was.
No, yeah, but I think that's exactly... Well, Uncharted 1 was never spectacular.
Uncharted 2 is the
2
one,
was the
right?
one.
Yeah.
And at the time, that was like nothing else. But everyone's caught up.
Yeah, so
Hey,
I think
that's progress.
unfortunately it's a victim of I'm a victim of not playing it at the time.
It's a great game.
Yep. So there we go.
Definitely
But
worth
so
playing.
good to know that they still have more stuff in, because either way, it is very good. They do produce very good things. Very good things.
But at the same time, I would rather, if they only do 1 or 2 games per generation, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah. Well, I'm more excited by them starting, because I remember traditionally they always only did 1 franchise a generation, and they never changed. And then The Last of Us was the kind of first time they strayed from that. So they've got good pedigree of when they actually do stray from that. If they introduce a new franchise this time around, I mean, there's not going to be an Uncharted 5, fingers crossed. So it's...
Why do you not want to see an Uncharted 5? You haven't seen 4 yet.
No, I think it'd be great, but I think that they're billing it as the end of Drake's story.
But it might be a cliffhanger.
Well,
where you have to double tap,
Literally, yeah.
triangle to climb back up.
That's quite good.
But I just hope that they kind of give it the closure with that and then move on to something new rather than kind of bring it in with another character or something. But that's just because we have so many of these franchises now that run and run and run. It's quite nice sometimes.
Maybe we'll get like Young Sully or something like that.
Oh, that's my
as a
fear.
spin-off.
That's my fear.
I was thinking that recently, actually, when I was playing
Call of Duty 92.
Battlefront. Do you think that the games that run on for a long time, like Call of Duty and Halo and things like that, do you think they eventually become weighed down with the material that they have in the past? Because
lore.
Halo multiplayer,
Yeah.
there's only so much they can introduce but still including the same vehicles.
Because you
and the same...
still need to feel that. Because
Yeah.
it's that whole thing of like, just likening it to Spectre, James Bond. Some people are like, oh, it's Bond by numbers. And I'm like, yeah, it is. I completely agree. But by the same token, there's enough people in the world who, if they went to see it and they didn't see those certain aspects, they'd be like, well, that's not Bond. I don't want that. And so you have this tightrope to kind of walk, which must be incredibly tricky. But like in terms of a perfect example of that, Assassin's Creed, like, how all the stuff of their, not necessarily gameplay, but the lore, all this whole stuff about the Templars and all of this. It's
but like Assassin's Creed, I don't think really has an excuse because the settings are so different each game that you change everything. You're in a
but
different
the lore
location.
is now so convoluted and just.
Well, that's
They
that's
landed. The Templars landed on the moon. Apparently, they were the ones who orchestrated the moon landing in search of a piece of Eden.
Really?
Yeah.
That is mental.
You dig into this stuff, and it.
thought
is
we were in London.
I know.
Wow.
I know. It's incredible.
Madness.
So there we go. Anyway.
Last piece of good news.
Yes, which was a couple of days ago,
Last
so I'm
week.
sure like a lot of people
It was
have.
last
Like,
week,
a
yeah.
couple-
You're late with this, Rory. Quite
I am
frankly.
late with this. Well, we recorded the podcast
Pregnancy
and it happened
test.
the next freaking day, in our luck. But Nintendo Direct, which was great. One of their better ones, at least I think. There was a lot of great news announced. One that I'm very excited about, of course, which is Twilight Princess being released in HD for Wii U.
Will you replay that?
Huh?
You'll replay it?
Absolutely. I've
Why?
already played it twice. I played it once on Wii and then again on Wii. And I definitely...
So you played it twice on Wii.
I played it
is
twice
basically
on
what you're
Wii. I
saying.
Wii-Weed, yeah. So I'm really looking forward to playing it again in HD.
But I don't think the jump is going to be as substantial as obviously like Wind Waker, which
No,
when
and-
you saw that was
That was
properly
stunning.
It looked
gorgeous.
incredible. It
Yeah.
looked so good. And that's one of the complaints that people had when they saw this was that it didn't look that different, But it's kind of difficult because the style of Twilight Princess is kind of realism, but it's all a bit dreamy, Like when you're in the wolf, it is quite like a dreamy, glowy world, and it's hard to kind of get that cutting edge, high definition look when it is this kind of blurry. It's like Skyward Sword was the same way. It's kind of cartoony. It's
didn't
not
like
really
Skyward
like.
Sword.
I thought it was. It was
I
alright.
would've-
But I love Twilight Princess.
I would play Twilight Princess because I missed it the first time around,
Fantastic.
but I can't because I don't have a Wii U.
See, I remember liking it, but I don't actually remember much about it at all.
I
apart
didn't
from,
like it.
like the wolfy bits.
Because I had the
some
I had it on Wii, and I think I was trying to use the motion control to get my money's worth for.
I used the
control.
motion controls.
Yeah, it didn't work very
It
well.
was
for me.
alright.
I didn't
It was
think I
fun. It was his first time he ever got to use the bow with the motion controls, and that was really, really fun. And even just like swinging the sword, I
Yeah.
think there was such a
I don't think I set my Wii
cool
up right.
kind of gimmick at the time. Like being a Zelda fan, I
But
was
it-
like,
it-
I am Link, like swinging my sword.
but you
around.
still think
But it
that.
wasn't
You
like you
haven't
had
grown out of
one-to-one control or anything like that, like you had in Skyward Sword.
Yeah. Oh
Where
no,
it was
you'd
more
literally,
like
if you moved it,
block
he
and
would.
everything.
Yeah. He
it
would
was just
swing.
like if somebody was watching you from behind and you're there doing that. I won't be a minute.
Get it! Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so close!
But that was just one of the things that they announced. They also announced a release date for Hyrule Warriors for Nintendo 3DS. They also announced Linkle, who is
I like
apparently
Linkle.
It's I don't think it's the female version of Link. They said it I think the
Different
speculation. Yeah, that's just a different character with a a very similar name. Very creative there. Linkle.
Yeah,
It's
like,
ridiculous. They're not great at naming things, Nintendo,
No,
are they?
not at all.
Oh, let's not call it the Wii U.
Let's call them,
Linkle.
Linkle.
can they get a naming department at Nintendo and just have a sanity checker?
I'm surprised they didn't just call them like New Link or
Yeah.
something. New 3D Link.
Girl
Linkle
Link.
is terrible.
Yeah.
Girl Link, yeah.
Welcome
absolutely.
to Girl Link. Fem Link.
But yeah, overall exciting stuff. And the last one that I think a lot of people are excited about was that they're going to be releasing Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue for digital download for Nintendo 3DS, which is great because those games are a bit of a pain to get a hold of nowadays.
How it all started.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah,
Still never played a Pokemon game.
that's
Really?
crazy.
No.
God.
I know. I've like when I was showing you the Snapchats we've been making for the IGN Snapchat, I was showing this one. It was like the Pokemon one where it's like Pokemon trainer.
I know.
And
I do know what Pokemon is. I've just not played it.
the premise was very simple. I threw a Pokeball and it didn't catch the Pokemon.
Yeah, but
and you were like, "Is that a Pokemon thing?" And I'm
Well-
like, "Well, it is, but it's also just a basic
But I also
knowledge."
found
of
that weird because it says it's not very effective, and that's not really a thing.
Well, the Pokeball wasn't effective. I know that it's yeah. Don't
Well,
nitpick.
I didn't.
I forgot this is the nitpick episode.
Well,
of the
I'm sorry, but we
nitpickers.
just like to make sure we're.
I expect a certain level of professionalism from the people I work with, that's all. If you can't deliver on that, that's fine.
Well,
I just want to know where we stand.
Okay, good to know.
I haven't been professional in years.
Okay, so that was the high score. Now we move on to the piss poor. Thank you,
Thanks,
Alex
Alex
Fox.
Fox, legend.
Who wrote this? Battlefront Limited Edition PS4 being
That was me.
bad.
This
That
is
was me.
Rory.
Go on then.
I totally flip-flopped.
Yesterday-
I flip-flopped twice, actually.
So you
I did a
unboxed it,
360.
right? You unboxed it the other day.
I unboxed it, yeah.
And was singing its praises.
Yes. So there's pros and cons. The console itself looks really, really nice. The printing on the side is so clear and fresh. The Star Wars logo, when it hits the right, fresh. The Star Wars logos around Darth Vader's helmet, when it hits the right light, they look like beautiful. They just like glow. The controller is a little bit dull. But
It's
also,
horrendous.
It's
The
not,
controller's
it's not
not
that
great.
great. So I think the idea is quite solid. But that's the only problem, is that it's not a great idea. I think the potential to do
You
something
just said
way
the
more
idea
interesting.
was quite.
Yeah, it's solid.
I
If
mean,
you-
well executed.
Yeah.
But they should have had a better idea. And
Yeah,
executed
well,
it.
that's it. Like, the possibilities are really cool. Like, you've seen some fan covers and things that people have
Yeah.
made for the PlayStation.
Well,
they look amazing.
We did a bunch on Rebel Base actually. But like, if they'd have done like hero consoles for each of the obviously the heroes that are in the game, so
Yeah.
you could have had a Vader one, but not one with just a.
It's just a
sticker
picture of
on
his
the
helmet,
side,
yeah.
But like, one that took his color schemes and did kind of different stuff using some of
Exactly.
the textures and things like that. That would have been cool. Like the Boba Fett one, I still swear would be amazing. That looked battle scarred and was kind of the greens and like the Mandalorian kind of logos on there and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that. That would look amazing.
Yeah, so my brother got, a couple of years back, got like a limited edition Halo Reach Xbox 360. And it was like, kind of like Spartan armor, all this like really nice design, a little bit of battle torn. It looked really cool. It wasn't just a picture of Master Chief
Yeah.
on the side of the console. And I think it's when you adapt the art style of the product is what makes it really interesting instead of just, displaying
like
the
the
product.
old R2D2 360.
Yeah.
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I really like
Totally.
It was
the.
influenced by.
I know a
rather
lot of
than-
people don't like it, but the Titanfall Xbox One I quite like, because that's another one that adapts the art style. My favorite PS4 is the Metal Gear one.
Yeah.
The red and gold, like his arm, which we have knocking around there. But so that's
Anyway,
kind of it.
I like the idea of it. I feel like it was just a bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the overall tone. Like the PlayStation looks great, but it could have been a bit more.
Imagine if they had done a white one that looked like a stormtrooper.
I thought that was going to be the obvious, because they make
Yeah.
white PlayStation 4s. That
Yeah.
would have been the obvious
Well,
choice.
The Destiny pad felt a lot like a kind of stormtrooper thing because it was obviously the same kind of colours. You could have had just some of the sort of like the breathing grates down the side. Oh man.
Yeah. Oh well,
No.
we'll never know.
Hey ho.
Fallout.
So
You have been talking about expensive games,
I have been talking about expensive games earlier, and we were talking
and
about.
finally we come to your
I
point.
was going to say, maybe this was too big a gap. But Fallout 4 sold 1.84 million digital copies. And I'm like, it's so expensive. You can't return that and get your money back if you don't like it.
Yeah.
It's just like, when digital games are this expensive and there's so much limited hard drive space, and for me as well, how long it takes to download, I'm like, can you imagine how long it would have taken people to download this? I suppose you get to play it. Maybe you get to play it early because you can download it, preload it, and
Did
stuff.
you
but-
hear?
Yeah.
Did you hear that over 1 in 10 people who have bought Fallout 4 haven't left the vault yet?
Yeah.
Isn't that insane?
That's the PC version, isn't it? So you've got digital copies. So how much of this is Steam is the question.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They didn't break that out.
I bet you most of that is Steam.
Well, interestingly, most of the people who bought it seem to have been on console. So I'm sure a lot of that is Steam. But if even the fact that some people are buying it on consoles, I mean, it does seem that there is, in all of the financial reports we've had this year, all of the companies have said, and when they've given breakdowns, there is a marked shift towards people feeling more comfortable buying their games digitally. And I'm just like...
But part of that is accessibility.
I suppose for me it's... Well, exactly. If I want to go buy a game now, I'm like, ooh, where do I go? I need to go to Amazon maybe? Or like...
The thing I thought was interesting is Amazon announced this week that for Prime members, if you ordered it, you could get it within an hour after the midnight launch, like your physical copy.
Wasn't this Battlefront?
Yeah.
Yeah, they launch it with that, but they're doing it for other games.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, that's great. I really like this.
Like, no need to go and queue up at your local store, and it kind of negates that whole thing of, like, instant downloads, or you can get it within an hour, I guess, depending where you live.
For me, I mean, that's awesome. That's really awesome. I mean, I've only ever been to one... Well, I've been to a midnight screening before the film. I've only been to one midnight launch. And it's quite nice, you're talking about stuff with like...
Sounds horrible.
I can't think of anything worse.
It was for a Harry Potter book that I went, so it wasn't exactly quite
It's not a game.
No, but it was a midnight launch.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a game.
They opened the store at midnight.
See, I've been to midnight launches, but that's purely for work.
Yeah.
And never again.
I think it's one of those things that seems like a good idea, and then when it's like, God, by the time it comes around, you're probably cold and freezing and bored. Yeah. And unless you got there at like 8 a.m., you're probably in the back of the queue.
Well, that's the Wii.
Why are you killing my dreams?
Was it Wii or was it PS3? I forget. Like, some guy was there like 4 days before. It's the same with like iPhone and iPad launches. People get there a week in advance now. But that's mainly because they've got another agenda, which is promoting something.
Yeah.
Somebody will come and interview them. So, I'm here because I'm promoting this, or being paid for.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
And I did queue up for the early iPhones. I went down to the Apple store, and partly I was covering it, but I thought I'll get in line. But it got to a point for, I think it was the iPhone 4. I got there at 7, and I didn't get my phone till 2 p.m. Yeah. And I was like,
oh my God.
And ever since, I've pre-ordered it, and I've gone and picked it up without queuing and just walked out the shop.
Yeah. That's
why
fine.
would you not do that?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. What are you getting in the first couple of days that you need so badly?
Stress ulcer.
It's crazy.
Also, like, the whole Apple thing. Like, if you've ever bought a product day one and you queue up, they literally high-five you and clap and cheer as you walk in the store, and it's weird.
Oh, that's awful. That's so
Don't
cheesy.
do that. Don't congratulate me for feeding your consumerist dream.
Yeah, fight the power.
Fight the power.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was mad. Anyway, that seems to be doing so well.
You've got another story as well.
I do. Yeah. So, do you guys want to humour me and guess how many copies of... So bear in mind, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Xbox One exclusive, but a big game, got stunning reviews, did choose to release on the same day as Fallout 4, however, which was a mistake. So, its sales figures in the UK are not fantastic. How many would you like to guess?
6.
4.
Right. So no, it's
64.
64 if you put them together. Or 46.
No, it sold 164,000.
I don't know.
Would you guess? No, it sold 57,000 roughly.
So
in the UK.
Can you provide context to that and give us an idea of what Fallout sold?
So, well, for example, they haven't released exact numbers for Fallout, shockingly, because they did ship.
Well, so how did you get the numbers for? I'm sure they didn't announce the numbers for Tomb Raider.
Well, no, but people pieced it together. But it allegedly around that. But it debuted as number 4 on the chart.
Right.
But it is a platform exclusive, but it was outsold by FIFA that week, for example.
Oh, what are you doing, people?
And it's just very much like, and FIFA, that came out ages ago. And it's just a bit, I don't know, it's because it's such a good game as well. Like, everyone who's played it loved it.
But I'm sure it'll sell well at Christmas.
Well, hopefully it will. I mean, hopefully it'll be a bit of a slow burn once people have finished Fallout or what have you, or parents looking for stuff to give.
Yeah, I think it was just bad timing. I think that was its main problem.
But what they've now... I mean, obviously it's going to launch on PC early next year, when it'll hopefully have a second thing, and then obviously PS4 at the end of next year. Mm-hmm. But...
have a second wind?
Yeah.
To rise it
just seems like a very...
The second rise of Tomb Raider.
The second rise. The rise and rise. I think it just seems very, very odd to me that, you'd spend this money on an exclusive, or Microsoft would, and then, leave it out to die on the same day as Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows who picked that date?
Yeah.
But you should definitely have thought, let's move it.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't know what went on there, but if you've paid for an exclusive, I would have said surely you would want to give it the best chance you can.
Yeah. And there's a lot of publicity that went into that, and a lot of marketing, and it's just...
Especially because presumably you bought it hoping it would help be a bit of a console seller, but if it's not going to be just a marketing tool, then you actually want people to bloody buy the thing and, and consider buying a console. Like, I don't know.
I'm sure they'll push it hard at Christmas.
Yeah, I hope so. I think it is part of it is one of the, like in the ads, it's there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ads on TV for it as well. So, maybe I'm just being harsh, but it just seems...
There's still time.
Yeah.
Although I would say that probably most games make, I don't know, 80% of their kind of sales
In the first
week.
launch, yeah.
Which is concerning for it, but hey.
Mm-hmm.
Last piece of news is this good or bad, Rory?
Pros and cons, swings and roundabouts, highs and lows,
Horses and courses, boats and floats.
all of the above.
Do you want to say what the last piece of news is?
Yeah, go on then.
Well, no.
So
So
you want me to do it?
yeah.
Right, yes, no, this is my last ever IGN UK podcast. As I depart for pastures new in December.
You're going to go all emperor and turn to the dark side.
I am going to turn to the dark side.
He's going to show up for his last check, like, goodbye,
I am.
fools. Zapping everyone.
There will be more on that in good time, but I am jumping ship. So yeah, after 3.5 years, eh?
You're going to retire to an island and write features about Guild Wars 2.
How dare you, sir?
Who's going to be here to not make me tea anymore?
I know, right? Maybe my replacement.
I cannot make you tea.
Oh, thanks, Alex. Thanks.
See, we support each other here. I'll miss that.
I was about to say something really bad there.
But
I'm not going to do it.
yeah,
I'm not going to do it now.
save it for after the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, it's been fun.
It's been a pleasure, Luke Kamali.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we've had some good times.
You're not dead like everybody else who's
No,
left the
exactly.
podcast.
I've managed to stay alive.
Yeah.
Well, you're not dead yet.
Yeah,
You haven't left yet, right?
You never know.
You never know.
No Viking funeral for me with my desk set on fire and soiled down the Thames.
Office furniture is expensive. I'm setting fire to that.
Yeah.
We'll get you a Lilo.
Okay.
Just put you on
I'll
that
take it. I'll
and
take
drift
what I
you
can
down.
get.
Just make sure you leave your keys when you leave, right?
Yes, no, I do. They are expensive.
Because they're
aren't they?
expensive as
Very
well.
expensive.
Rory and I swapped keys about 6 weeks ago.
Did we?
Why did you do that?
Don't know. I think we picked up each other's.
Do you have
He's got different access to you.
24-hour access?
Don't think so.
Well, we definitely haven't swapped keys.
Oh.
Thank Christ for that. I would have
We have swapped keys.
tried to deactivate the alarms.
We
and,
have swapped keys because mine have bite marks on, and
Ew.
Yeah.
Why?
because I break all my pens
You
by
eat
chewing on them.
keys?
Yeah, the keys are more robust.
Don't eat keys. You don't know
Well.
where they've been.
Well, now you know where yours have been, so
Horrific.
my mouth.
Anyway. Yeah, well, if you're not even going to be in another podcast, I was going to say you could send in your messages for you.
Oh,
But
Well, I'll listen.
But do it
We
anyway.
won't read them out.
Do it anyway. We'll read them out and we'll ridicule you when
yeah.
you're not here.
Do that, and I'll
Because
listen
that's
to
very,
it.
very telling.
You should.
That's how we do things
You
on this
should
podcast.
keep this running order. You can like frame it.
Frame it.
Yeah. I can autograph it if you
Or
want.
mine. At least I made lots of notes on mine.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball.
And I'm also pretty sure you've just scrumped yours into a ball. Oh, yes. No,
I don't
never
think
mind.
scrumped is a real word.
Sorry, I thought we'd forgotten something, but we haven't.
Here you go, buddy.
Like barking like a seal.
Or don't forget.
No, and also sorry to those at home though whose eardrums I just burst.
Who's got the first piece of feedback?
Oh, it's me.
Raw Dizzler?
It's me. Nicholas wrote the title Zelda Smokescreen, so I'm a little bit excited to see what this is going to be about. Nintendo haven't been setting the world alight the past year with the exception of Smash Bros. And to an extent Splatoon. However, as I think is the case for most Nintendo fans / Wii U owners, the constantly fun and high-quality games have kept us going while waiting on Zelda Wii U, since we still don't have a title. Naturally, I was excited for the first Nintendo Direct in a good while. Oh, so I'm glad we did talk about this. And since Zelda has been delayed a couple of times, I thought surely, since it could be assumed to be released in the first 6 months of 2016, we would get a title at least, if not a trailer. Instead, we got a big Twilight Princess HD shaped smokescreen to try to avoid answering questions like what the hell is taking so long in finishing this game. I don't want to be negative towards Nintendo, who have given me some of the greatest games I've ever played, but it feels like they've aimed too high in promising this huge, expansive, open-world Zelda experiences and are now struggling to coax on the limited Wii U hardware into pulling that off. Have to hope I'm wrong, but I'd love to know what you guys think. I didn't mess up once reading that.
Did you not?
That was insane.
About 50 times.
I was going to say, if only you could do that when you were reading the news videos.
I went into a trance at one point. The words just came alive. It was like the Matrix.
I'm still not convinced it's going to come out on Wii U.
I'm very certain it's going to be a similar thing to Twilight Princess, where I think they're going to have a dual release. I think it's going to be released on Wii U, and then maybe at a very soon later date on the NX. Because that's the same thing. The Twilight Princess came out on GameCube and Wii U at the same time.
I just think now that we've seen how good Wind Waker can look, like with its art style. I mean, it's a slightly different art style, but it's still very kind of cell shady.
Very different.
It's cell shady though.
I know, but you look at like that had to draw like an expansive ocean, i.e. nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas this has got like, see that mountain in the distance? You can go to that.
And I'm concerned about that because I don't know if Wii U has that amount of oomph. But and also the point that he makes there, which is quite interesting, they haven't even narrowed it down. You'd expect at some stage they might have gone like, second half of late 2016 or something like that.
Yeah.
But they haven't. They've just left it open, which
it's going to be a year away, surely.
I think it's either going to be Christmas or it'll fall to 2017.
I can see where his concerns are because it's just having to sustain because it's been pushed back so long. Yeah. There is a bit of a hole where it's like it feels like nothing's really coming aside from remakes of your favorite games.
Yeah.
Which is probably why they're doing this so much. Well, this is the thing.
Twilight Princess. I reckon we've probably got. Do we have a remake of Skyward Sword coming before we have that?
You wouldn't have Skyward Sword. Until the NX maybe is a download title.
I don't know. They're plugging the gap with Zelda titles while not showing any new gameplay footage.
I don't think so.
Don't you, Rory? Well, that's good, isn't it?
I think he's definitely right with ambition. I think it's a project that's taken so long that it's taken beyond the lifespan of the Wii U.
That's my biggest concern is that if it does come out in a year's time, will the Wii U even be relevant anymore?
Yeah, I don't think so. I honestly don't. And I personally, it is an issue.
Or it won't get the spotlight that it deserves as a game.
Well, the Wii U version definitely.
Yeah, because it's not. The thing is, if you know that the next console is coming out and you don't have a Wii U, originally everyone thought the new Zelda would be a system seller. It's not going to be a system seller if it's right at the end of the generation and there's a new console with a new line of games coming up.
I think Nintendo are seeing it much more now as a better option to make it as a system seller for the NX. Well, it's like almost a launch title.
It's going to be a launch title.
Yeah.
It has to be.
But I mean,
that's why I bought a Wii, was for Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
And that's why I buy an NX.
That was the same reason I bought my Wii as well, and that's probably why I'm going to buy an NX.
Was that why you bought a Wii U?
I didn't buy a Wii U.
Oh, I don't have a Wii U.
You've used the Office one.
I use the Office one. Yeah. But obviously it's an issue, but what is the alternative? To have it released before its time? Like if you're a big Zelda fan like I am, I definitely would prefer taking the time to perfect this game and make it the best. Because I know they have like Triforce Heroes and Hyrule Warriors, which are things that can keep you entertained in the Zelda universe. While
you've played 3DS games.
Yeah, I've played all the 3DS games. And they're fun, but it's the same thing. They don't have the same weight. They're huge, exactly. So I am okay with
the train one called?
Spirit Tracks.
Spirit Tracks.
It was all right. It was good. Very similar to Phantom Hourglass.
Yeah.
And it's as we said, it's Zelda. There's dungeons. It's fun. You get that sense of achievement, but there's just something about starting a new Zelda game and seeing Link again and exploring around your hometown before adventuring out into this crazy world. Yeah, it's just
especially
so great.
One that promises to be as kind of ambitious as this.
Yeah,
but we'll have to wait and see.
Exactly. I'm excited, but I do acknowledge the problem.
Cool.
Kamali?
Thank you, Nick.
So, Levon Young says, I had a terrible roommate situation a couple of months back. I ended up leaving because of the friend's obnoxious girlfriend. She smoked in the house, had a loud TV, unemptied litter boxes.
She had a loud TV. Did she not just?
She used a litter box?
Yeah, I know, right? I own a ton of games on both 360 and the Xbox One. I'm wondering what game I should have gotten her addicted to that would have either made her tolerable or crushed their relationship.
Bleach.
Bleach is not a game, Rory.
Drink the bleach, and then
drink the bleach.
Get done.
I'm not sure whether getting someone to play a game would have been the solution.
That's why I went straight for killing. Yeah.
No, I mean I think
like Mortal Kombat, something like that.
Destiny's quite addictive.
What? Well,
what? How would that? Right. Okay.
Well, look, if you want to bond with her, find a game that you like and play that.
Is this about bonding, or is this about making her so obsessed with something that she accidentally starves?
To make her tolerable, you're not going to make someone tolerable. You just have to bond over something. So find a game you both like, or crush the relationship. I don't know.
I don't think it's a video game.
No,
unfortunately.
I think you made the right move by moving out.
Yeah.
I think you
Was it his girlfriend or partner?
No, his roommate's girlfriend.
So that's why I don't understand.
Yeah. Cut your losses.
what? That would have been weird anyway. If it was his roommate's girlfriend and suddenly he's in the front room playing, I don't know, Mortal Kombat with his missus. It's like, what's going on here?
That's
Just
odd.
playing Mortal Kombat.
See,
Know what
I
mean?
saw the other way. It's like, what game should I have like tried to get her into so that she would be so into that she wouldn't
Yeah, that's
be
another
bothering?
that's another way of taking it.
So I was gonna say like Warcraft or something where you get really obsessed with it and really into it, and
What,
then
to the point where she stopped smoking and having her TV up loud?
yeah. Well, she was
That's
not gonna be watching
ridiculous.
TV. She's doing a raid. She's be
Well,
in
she
the
didn't have
zone.
to use she didn't have to leave the room because she had a litter tray that she was.
I did find that really weird.
that was read. Yeah, maybe I read that weirdly.
She smoked, loud TV. She pooped in a box in the kitchen.
Move out.
She's also a
Move out.
cat.
I was going to say, if she's got the litter box, that's the Warcraft Raiders starter kit. So, yeah, you're all good on that one.
Zing.
The legendary Jamie Martin writes in
Hey, Jamie.
saying, I was wondering if they made a game based around the IGN UK podcast crew, what would it be like? What type of game would it be? Who would be the protagonist? Who would be the enemies? And who would be the final boss? Final boss?
Final boss.
Ovs?
You think so? You don't want to be a hero?
No.
Guess that's me then.
No, you're not the
Boom.
final boss. I'm the final boss. No,
I
you're
didn't
the
say
final
I was
boss.
the final
I'm
boss.
the protagonist.
No, you're DLC.
I'm
Yeah.
not DLC.
No one wants to pay for.
No one could afford me, Rory, okay? Let's start with that, okay?
Freemium, I think.
Yeah.
What genre would we be?
Survival horror.
Believe me, it comes close at time.
Action adventure. Those are two fun words.
Why?
Because we're fun and exciting.
You've put a lot of thought into this.
I'll think of a better one. Puzzle game.
See, I
Try
think
and
it
work
maybe is something like
A puzzle, you have to arrange the workup that works. I mean, they all work,
a
but...
theme hospital or something like resource management.
Oh yeah, like
yeah, it's
Sims.
like a sim. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of works.
And then, you know, as my job as the hero, obviously.
We're always making Tilly go shower.
Yeah, but that's it. It'd be the first thing is like to round everybody up. It's like, well, Tilly's in the toilet. Of course he is.
It
Gotta
is
go and get
herding
him out.
cats.
Actually, yeah, I guess like all of our different roles have like different.
I was going to
different
say,
games.
if you guys could see behind the scenes of how long, when we say we're going to start recording, and then when we actually start recording, it's not great.
You're particularly bad at that.
I'm not. Because everything is dumped on me, including highlighting,
Well, it's not.
Dumped
It's not
on
on
me.
me. I freaking set everything up.
for the last time.
The conversation was, can you do the running order? I look at it an hour later and there's like a headline that says IGN Podcast 305. Woo!
Well, first of all, this is 306,
It was
so
just
clearly
like
you haven't done your research.
Every
Alex, but-
header was empty except for talking point that just said Battlefront with a question mark. I was like, thanks, Luke.
Well,
Thanks for
I
that.
want you guys to put in what you want to talk about. I don't want to dictate.
Don't do the running order then. Any other suggestions for the IGN UK Podcast game? I think ultimately it would be unrewarding.
I think it would be very unrewarding.
You'd get to the end and go, that's an hour I'm never going to get back.
I think it would be.
You
the
would
equivalent-
eventually win an award for it, though.
It would be like a Telltale
You have to
game.
work really
You
hard.
have to
for
work
it.
really fucking hard
It
for
would be like a
years, and you'll
Telltale
eventually get an award.
game, but your decisions don't really change anything.
Yeah.
There was a set track the whole time.
Alex
and
will
you just-
remember that.
Oh.
I will. That will stick with me forever.
This
Thank you,
is
Jamie.
an email from Andrew. So Andrew says, I wanted to give a shout out to the Stratford branch of the Loading Cafe. It was their opening last Saturday and it was a fun night. While we were there, my friends and me were thinking about the subtle nerdy pub names and wondered if you guys had any ideas, particularly after Tilly's post-apocalypse plan. We surely needed to name his bunker pub, right? I believe
Yeah.
it was well stocked, apparently. That's a pretty good name. Well stocked?
Well stocked.
The video game-y ones we came up with were The Princess and the Castle, The Skill Tree, and The Monkey and Barrel. I'm sure you can do better.
Well,
I can.
I've got two.
I've got the best one.
Well, okay, so then I'll go
Two.
first. So, okay, so my first one was The Bear and Bird, which is obviously Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah.
No.
And then I also had The Star and Shroom. As in the Star and
You
Mario.
are just taking things and saying the thing and the thing.
You don't understand how
That's-
pub naming
that's how
works.
pubs work.
The
That's-
console and controller.
Brilliant.
Well done.
Well
yeah.
done.
But
I
that's
had,
how-
I had Mario and the Mushroom.
Did you actually? That's because
But
it's not.
the
That's,
best one. The Dog and Duck. Duck
There you
Hunt.
go.
yeah, duck. I
That's
thought you were going to
good.
say with the
No,
thing.
at university, ours was the Dirty Duck. So,
Ugh.
the
How does a
dirt-
duck get dirty? He spends all his time in water.
well, like,
It's a filthy
yeah, but
duck.
they also shit in that water.
What's your suggestion, Laura?
I had mine. World of Warcraft beer. That's not bad.
That's not what you'd call a pub.
Warcraft. Warcraft beer.
War and
I
craft.
think I'm having a stroke. I'm not sure what's happening.
Phone an ambulance.
That was absolutely dire.
Well, you had the green pipe.
The green pipe. Listen, you had the green tunnel. Don't you stop. Drop my pen.
I forgot what it was called. The green pipe. Hammer time? And then like Mario.
But why is that a
Have
pub
you ever
name?
been to a pub? You're just saying words.
Where's your friends going after work? Oh, should we go to Hammer Time? No, I don't think so. I'll see you later, mate.
All right, MC.
Whereas I would totally go to Dog and Duck.
Dog and Duck. That's probably my favorite so far.
Exactly.
Aside from Warcraft beer. Of course.
Dreadful.
So obviously,
Dreadful.
think of the pub we go to in Soho, the Crown and Two Chairmen. So
Destiny. It's a gin bar. Destiny. That's not bad.
Why don't you understand? How do we make you understand how this works?
Look, can somebody please
This is
suggest
really
something better
upsetting.
than Rory?
So moving swiftly on.
What about a pub called DLC where you can go and your first non-alcoholic drink is free, but then you have to pay extra for add-on.
You're not on The
add-on,
Apprentice.
spirits?
This
On
isn't like
microtransactions.
Microtransactions.
You're not
For
on-
micro beers, microbrewery. Yeah.
Good God. Better ideas, please, to IGN_UK feedback, IGN.com.
Oh my god. So Stewie Hunter from Ireland says, "Hi guys, writing in to get your opinion if now is a good time to buy a PlayStation 4 or not.
Yes.
Currently working as a youth work intern, so he's not earning a lot of money, so wants to spend it wisely. Is it a good idea to buy it now as an early Christmas present to himself, or wait for further price reductions? Also, is the storage space in a 500GB enough?
I've got a 500 and I haven't had any problems.
Mine is full at the moment, but it's just a case of
We get a lot of games there.
yeah. I mean, I merrily delete stuff and then
You're gone.
yeah, you're gone.
Closes his eyes and points to the screen.
You're gonna miss being able to do
A
that
sick
voice.
little game. Yeah.
You twisted bastard. But basically, 500 gigs should be enough. Yes, buy a PlayStation 4. It's a good time.
I think it's good.
I don't think the price is going to come down much cheaper.
No, and they've just done another price cut, in the last month or something.
If you were going to buy an Xbox or a PlayStation, what would you buy?
I was talking to Dan about this actually recently, and I think I would go PlayStation. But it's a problem that's been creeping up really a lot recently is lobbies and party chats and communication, whether that's with our controllers or our headsets or the actual PlayStations. So when I go on my Xbox, I can just start parties and just talk.
The
with everyone
PlayStation
at the same-
infrastructure is always a bit.
But I don't
very
think. I
convoluted.
think that's our office network.
You think so?
Well, because
Like strict
we're in
nats
NAT
and
3
stuff?
here, because I was trying to do that yesterday, and I just spat quite a lot. But we're in NAT 3 here, whereas at home I'm in NAT 2, and I don't have any problems.
Honestly, I don't. There's really not that much of a difference. It's a different interface. I'm not one of those people that's going to obsess over graphics, aside from a couple launch titles. And I honestly think it's whichever one that you and your friends have. If your friends all have Xboxes, you should get an Xbox.
Yeah,
if they have PlayStations, get a PlayStation.
And if you have no
It's that
friends,
easy. If you have no friends,
PlayStation.
I don't know why you're
I got
listening to
PlayStation.
podcasts. Go outside. Go meet people. Go to Barcraft Beer.
Don't do that.
Meet some of the wonderful ladies of Barcraft Beer.
Barcraft isn't bad. Barcraft is one of your better ones, but none of them are good. None of them are the Star and Shroom.
I don't know.
Dog and Duck. Anyway,
Destiny.
that's it for this week's podcast. That's it for Luke Kamali's tenure on the IGN UK podcast.
It is, yeah.
I hope you do well in the next life.
Thank you.
Yes.
And
and
I'll
by
be
that,
looking down on
Good
you.
luck.
We are going to kill you.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
looking down on you.
What are we going to do? What are you going to hang from the?
Hanging from the ceiling. Yeah. Oh no.
That'd be weird. Coming in the morning, he's just like X-Files, just looking down.
Well, this is a dark way to end my final podcast, but you know what? Why not?
But Rory and I will be back at some time
Yeah.
soon. Until then, adios amigos.
Good night and good luck.